the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Something that nobody really asked for, but we got, and it wasn't terrible. Josh, I think, has seen it about a million times by now. Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people are if it's something that a lot of people are going to check out. Again, it's short. It's a nice brief little.
Yeah.
What were things you liked about it?
I don't want to rub this movie's balls too much, but I just want to say everything. And the movie started off, and I'm like, this might suck. This movie might be garbage. And as soon as they had the first music number, I was like, oh man, this might be special. Two characters you pick to put together are Mantis and Drax. It's a one-off. It's a special. It's just about Christmas and Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, that was a surprise. Just Kevin Bacon, just a bunch of Kevin Bacon. I hope you like
Kevin
him.
Bacon.
Don't forget Swole Groot. Why is he's fucking huge now? Like I was thinking, I was like, he didn't look like that before, right? And I
No.
googled him. I'm like, no, he was he was a tree. Now he's
Big
like a
ass
stump.
tree. Now he's The Rock. He's Dwayne The Rock
huge.
Johnson for some reason.
I feel like Vin Diesel was actually in the costume for this.
Vin Diesel had to have stepped in because
Yeah, he was there.
he had to be like, we gotta make him big this time. What do we made him big this time? That was like the most shocking part when they showed him. I was like, is that like another species here? The whole thing too with Mantis and Drax. I always like their banter back and forth and the way they go off each other. And like when it started to just be them, I was like, oh, okay, this will be fun. I kind of realized though, you can only really do that in doses. By the time they left with Kevin Bacon, I was like, okay, I'm kind of done with them now. When they first started, I was like, I want like a show, like a mini series of just them and their exploits. And then I was like, okay, I don't know if these two characters work as an entire thing themselves. Like just like in little doses, it's funny, but then kind of getting the same like they're both kind of stupid and like plucky, and you're like, oh, I know why they're the side characters that you only hear from a couple times. I don't think you could write a whole series of them. So I mean, at least for like maybe for a kid, like a truly kids thing.
A 45-minute time point was perfect cutoff for that movie.
Yeah,
The pacing, when the movie,
Yeah.
I can't believe how much I love this movie.
it did.
Makes
It did
no
make me
sense.
want a little bit more. It was just like over, and you're like, okay, all right, I liked it. I kind of want a little. I thought it was gonna go a little more, but it didn't. It leaves that like that almost like that freshness to it. Like you could rewatch it. It's not long at all, long enough, like
No.
too long at all.
Actually, the part of it that I really loved about it was the fact that it went back and forth between animated and live action, because the animated was just the telling of the history and what had happened to him in the past. And I love that little cartoony aspect of it, because it kind of brought more to the characters in that aspect.
It's a fun little watch. I would recommend it to people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
check it out. I
absolutely.
mean,
Phase 4 is very much a, grieving loss and moving on. This was such a breath of fresh air. And I do like that they have Mantis is actually Peter Quill's sister. Made a lot of
yeah,
sense.
that's right.
Well, that was one of those things, but that I was never big into comics as a kid. I obviously loved the movies and everything, so I don't know that whole backstory. Whatever. In the movies, that was never a thing. It was never mentioned that Ego was her father.
It makes a ton of sense now, and I don't know why we never thought of that.
It just never went off in my head. You know what was
Bob-
missing though? Gamora
It definitely it left Peter Quill's character like kind of
in shambles.
like he didn't have that like person to go off of where it was like the straight man, the funny man, which
Yeah.
is how their dynamic kind of goes. And then you kind of left it with Nebula, right? Nebula's the sister. Is that Nebula the one that's I'm starting to forget Endgame. Like I feel like the one that like we know got killed? No, she killed her. Right?
No,
Yeah, no, the bad
No.
one's gone. I want
no.
to see a Guardians
That's the
Volume
old-
3 trailer just to see what the hell they're planning on doing right now.
because Gamora wasn't in Love and Thunder either.
No, she's dead.
Well,
Yeah.
there was
They brought
the
her
new-
back kind of.
They
Yeah,
kind of
but
brought her
didn't she?
back.
Oh, yeah. So did she go back to her own timeline?
There was no. They just kind of everyone was gone, but she was still there. But then it just kind of never went anywhere after that.
She wouldn't have gone back to her own timeline because she came through the like portal thing with Thanos'
Exactly.
army, and she stayed.
Right.
Guardians Volume 3 is going to be the last one, right? That's
With that
They said that
team,
that's
yeah.
it.
James Gunn is done. That team story will be done. If they choose to do more Guardians, they'll be a different team.
be interesting how that all wraps up. I don't know
Yeah.
if we want that though. Like, but I mean, things you got to end them. You can't have 50 million movies. It's interesting how they're slowly folding in new characters, but I don't know if anybody really cares about the new characters that they're putting in as much. No
I
one's
don't.
ever gonna care as much as the original like crew of it. But it's always been this weird thing where someday it's gonna end and you gotta kind of cut ties and find the new superhero mashup to use.
Back into spoilers, obviously one of the greatest things I did see that made me laugh my ass off in that special was the exchanging of the gifts scene
Yep.
where Rocket finally got Bucky's arm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was great.
Wonder how that went down.
He has a new arm.
He does have a new arm, yeah.
Yeah,
They made him a new one in
Picked it
Wakanda.
up, cleaned that shit off, and
yeah.
that's dope.
Gave him the old Soviet one.
Yeah.